Okay, so today we're taking a deep dive into something that's super relevant to, well, everyone really. What actually helps students make it all the way to graduation?
Yeah, it's something we all think about, right? But maybe don't always have the full picture on.
Exactly. And to help us get a clearer picture, we've got some really interesting research excerpts here all about what leads to student success. And specifically, what leads to graduation, because let's face it, that's kind of the ultimate goal. Okay.
For a lot of folks, it is. Though, of course, it's not the only calmly wide path to success in life.
No, absolutely not. But it is a significant milestone. And the research really emphasizes this idea that it's not just about academics, it's about this whole big, complex journey that students are on.
Yeah, it's all these triumphs and trials, as one of the excerpts puts it. It's such a great way to describe it, too, because it really captures the emotional roller coaster. I mean, think back to your own school days.
Oh man, don't even get me started. The ups and downs, the stress, the late nights, the friendships. I mean, it's a lot.
And that's what we need to remember when we're looking at these graduation rates. It's not just a number. There are all these personal stories, challenges, and external factors woven in.
So true. And speaking of external factors, the research dives right into the impact of socioeconomic background, which honestly can be a tough topic to talk about.
It is, but it's so important to acknowledge because, unfortunately, the data is pretty clear. Students from lower income families face a much steeper uphill battle when it comes to graduating.
Yeah, one study cited in here found that they're like 4 times less likely to graduate than their higher income peers. It's a staggering gap. And it kind of makes you wonder, like, how much is it about smarts and hard work, and how much is it about the resources and support you have access to?
Right, and that's what the research really tries to untangle. And it's not just about money either. It's about things like stable housing, access to healthcare, even just having enough food to eat. All of these things can impact a student's ability to focus and succeed in school.
It's almost like they're starting the race a few steps behind everyone else,
Yeah.
you know?
Exactly. And so when we talk about supporting students, it's not just about providing extra tutoring or study help. It's about addressing those underlying inequities as well.
Which brings us to the next big topic from the research, support systems. I mean, I think we can all agree that things like counseling, mentoring, and tutoring can be super helpful. But then the excerpts ask this really interesting question. How effective are these programs actually, and are they reaching the students who need them the most?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And unfortunately, there's no easy answer. It really depends on the specific context, the quality of the program, and how accessible it is to students.
Right. But there are some promising findings out there, like one study mentioned here that showed this mentoring program specifically for first-generation college students led to a 15% increase in their graduation rate.
Yeah, that one's pretty incredible. And it really highlights the power of targeted interventions that address the unique needs of specific student populations.
Because a one-size-fits-all approach probably isn't going to cut it. Right.
Not at all. And that's why it's so important to be constantly evaluating and adapting these support systems to make sure they're truly effective and equitable.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of environments, the research also digs into the impact of the school environment itself. Like, does the school feel welcoming and supportive, or is it kind of a cutthroat, every student for themselves kind of vibe?
It's a really interesting point, and the source uses this term, school climate, to describe the overall feeling or culture within a school. And the research shows that a positive school climate where students feel safe, respected, and challenged can make a huge difference in their motivation and how well they do academically.
I can totally see that. Like, if you feel like you belong and your teachers genuinely care about you, you're probably going to be a lot more invested in your learning, right?
Absolutely. And it's not just about feeling good. A positive school climate can actually lead to tangible outcomes like higher attendance rates, improved grades, and yes, even increased graduation rates.
So it's not just about the academic side of things. It's about creating a holistic environment that supports the whole student.
Exactly. And that ties directly into another key takeaway from the research, which is the importance of early intervention. How can we spot those warning signs early on? Maybe a student's grades are slipping, or they're starting to miss class a lot. What can we do to step in and provide support before those issues snowball into bigger problems?
Yeah, it seems like so much of this comes down to being proactive, right?
Yeah.
Catching things early before they become major setbacks.
Exactly. It's about being attentive, building strong relationships with students, and having systems in place to provide timely and appropriate support.
Makes sense. But, while we're talking about all the things that can go wrong, I think it's also super important to talk about the things that are going right. How do we celebrate success, big and small, and create a culture where students feel motivated and encouraged?
Such a good point. And the research touches on that too. It talks about the need to recognize and celebrate student achievements and encourage a broader definition of success.
Because success doesn't always have to look like a four-year college degree, right?
Right. Some students might thrive in a trade school, or they might be ready to jump right into the workforce, and that's totally okay.
As long as they have the skills and support they need to pursue their chosen path, whatever that may be.
Exactly. And that's where we as a community come in. How can we create more diverse pathways to success and ensure that all students have the opportunities they need to reach their full potential?
Hmm, that's a really good question. Something for everyone listening to think about.
It is. So, as we wrap up our deep dive today, I think the big takeaway here is that graduation is about way more than just good grades. It's about recognizing the complex web of personal journeys, socioeconomic factors, supportive environments, and celebrating all those different paths to success. It's a lot to consider, but it also leaves me feeling really hopeful.
Me too. And to leave you with one final thought, what's one thing you can do to make a difference in the life of a student in your own community? Maybe it's volunteering as a tutor or simply offering a word of encouragement to a young person who's struggling. Every little bit helps.
It really does. And who knows, maybe that small act of kindness will be the thing that helps them reach their graduation day and beyond.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
My pleasure.